All right, so we are going to start today just having a seat on our mat, whatever's comfortable to you. That's legs crossed, legs out. And we'll start to close the eyes. Let the hands falling to wherever's comfortable. Start to focus on the breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Feeling the inhales filling all the spaces in the lungs. And then feeling it leave all those spaces with each exhale. Taking these breaths to start to let go of the day. Starting to bring ourselves into our rooms and onto our mats. Take these next few minutes to just recognize that breath, starting to get comfortable with it. Taking a few more deep inhales and exhales. And we'll continue to keep the eyes closed if that's comfortable. Take the arms, just kind of let them hang down by the sides. And then on our next inhale, we're going to lift those arms up, coming up overhead. As we exhale, dropping the right hand down, placing it on the mat, and then just kind of folding over that right side. Feeling a deep stretch in those ribs on that left side. Taking deep breaths here, filling all those little spaces. On the next inhale, bringing ourselves back up, lifting that right arm up. On the exhale, drop that left arm down onto the mat, and then just kind of fold over that left side. Again, feeling that stretch all down those ribs and that right side body. Feeling the breath fill in all those little spaces. On our next inhale, bringing ourselves back up. Again, we can continue to keep the eyes closed, or if it's comfortable, you can start to open them. As we exhale, start to twist the body to that left side, dropping the arms down. Placing one hand on the outside of that leg, bring that other hand, if we can, kind of behind us. And the gaze can go over at the side, or if it's there on that neck, you can bring it over that back shoulder. And then take those deep inhales and exhales into that twist. On our next inhale, bringing ourselves back up, lifting those arms up. As we exhale, twisting to that opposite side, bringing those arms down. Taking those deep breaths. And on that next inhale, bring ourselves back forward, bringing those arms up. If the eyes are closed, we'll start to slowly open them up. Exhale, turn those palms towards the wall, bringing the arms down. We'll take the feet, placing them onto the mat so we have some bent knees. We'll take the arm or the hands and we kind of place them on the outside of that knee, on the shin, or on the inside of the thigh, whatever is comfortable. We're going to do some seated cat-cows here. So as we inhale, we're going to kind of push the belly in towards the legs and bring the gaze up towards the ceiling. And as we exhale, start to round that spine, rounding those shoulders, tucking that chin into that chest. And inhale, going back up, pushing that belly into those legs, gaze up. Exhale, rounding in. Inhale, pushing back forward, gaze up. And exhale, rounding that spine in. And inhale that belly up. And exhale, rounding forward. We'll do that one more time. Inhale, pushing the belly in. And exhale, round that spine. And we'll inhale, coming up to a neutral spine. So we're going to take let's start with our left leg. If we can kind of grab that ankle, you might need to straighten that right leg. Place that ankle onto the thigh. Take the hands behind us, and we're slowly just going to start to bring that right foot up. So we're feeling a stretch into that hip. So if it feels intense, you can kind of adjust by walking those hands back a little bit. So if you come forward, you're going to get a little bit more, and you can also adjust that leg. So if you kind of toe heel it forward a little bit towards the body, you're going to get more of a stretch. So whatever's comfortable right now. Try to keep those legs so they're centered in front of you so they're not dropping off to the side. Feel that stretch in that hip. Send that breath into that hip. And then we'll slowly kind of start to slide that right foot out to come out of this, and then eventually just straightening it down, uncrossing that leg, straightening that leg out, and then kind of just give them a little wiggle. And then taking that right foot, if you want to grab the ankle with the hand, you can, or just cross it over, whatever's comfortable. Take those hands again, place them behind you, and start to slide that left foot up in towards the body. Again, your hands can kind of be your anchors, so you can kind of walk them back, or you can slide that foot farther out and try to keep those legs centered in the body. And take those deep breaths here. Might find one side's a little bit tighter than the other, and that's normal. It's usually your non-dominant side. Taking one more breath here. And then to come out, just slowly slide that left foot down. We'll uncross that leg, straightening it out, and give those legs that little wiggle. And we'll take the weight off the hands. And if you're like me, you get a little bit of a tingle in those fingers, so go ahead and shake those hands out. And then we're going to come up onto our knees. So we're going to try to keep the knees together and kind of sink down if that's comfortable. You can kind of widen the legs a little bit here as well if that's more comfortable. We're going to move through some movements here, so we're not going to stay on the knees for very long. So what we're going to do is we're going to inhale. So as we inhale, we're going to shift the weight up, bringing those arms up. As we exhale, we're going to start to fold forward, coming onto hands and knees and rolling the spine in. And then we inhale, drop the gaze down, the gaze up, belly down. And then exhale, we're going to move back to a child's pose. Dropping the head, we'll take a breath here. On our next inhale, we're going to start to kind of walk the hands back towards the face, bringing ourselves back up onto those knees. We'll be here for just a second. We'll move through that flow a couple times. So inhale, coming up onto those knees, arms up. Exhale, start to drop down onto both hands, rounding that spine. Inhale, rolling that belly down, gaze going up. And exhale, dropping back to that child's pose. Dropping that forehead to the mat, we'll take a breath. We'll do that one more time. So on that next inhale, we'll start to walk those hands back, bringing ourselves back up onto those knees. Last time here. So we'll inhale, bring ourselves up. Exhale, dropping down onto hands and knees. Rolling that spine up, chin to the chest. Exhale, drop the belly down, gaze going up. And then inhale, drop back to that child's pose. Resting that forehead on the mat. We'll take a couple breaths here. On our next inhale, we're going to lift up to our hands and our knees. We're going to tuck the toes behind us and start to lift the hips up towards the sky, coming into a down dog. Feel free to adjust your stance here if you need to widen the feet on the mat or putting a bend in those knees. Feel free to walk those feet out, pedaling up and down, lifting one heel, dropping the other. Taking your time here to warm up the backs of those legs. One side's a little bit tighter, feel free to hold that heel down. And then let those feet come into stillness here. On our next inhale, walk those feet up to those hands. Having a little bit of a bend in those knees while we're folded over here. Taking the hands, placing them on the thighs. And then slowly rolling ourselves all the way up to standing. Stacking those vertebrae. Rolling those head, neck, and shoulders very last. We'll close our eyes here at the top for a breath. And exhale it all out. Slowly opening the eyes back up. We're gonna do a little bit of a flow here with a chair pose. So we're gonna widen the feet so they're about hip distance apart, maybe shoulder distance. So as we inhale, we're gonna lift the arms up, sink the hips down, kind of dropping into that chair, light on the toes, all that weight's in the heels. As we inhale, we're gonna push the hips up and fold over the legs. Taking a breath in our fold. And then on that next inhale, lifting ourselves all the way up to standing. Inhale, bring those arms up, keys going up towards the hands. Exhale, bring those palms down. And as we inhale, we're going to swing the arms up, shift that weight back into those hips, sinking down. We'll take a breath here. On the next inhale, start to push the hips up and fold ourselves over the legs. Taking that breath here. And inhale all the way up to standing. Bringing those arms with us. Exhaling them down. Doing it one more time. So we'll inhale, swing those arms around, start to sink those hips down. Take that breath here. And then on that next inhale, start to pop those hips while starting to come forward. Take that breath here. And on that next inhale, come all the way up to standing. Bring those arms. Exhaling down. We're going to let those hands come down by the sides. And then inhale, just lifting them straight up. We're not going to bring the palms together. And then we're going to exhale and start to hinge at the hips, dropping forward into a fold. So if you need to put a little bit of a bend in the knees here, you can. We'll take the left hand, place it right in front of the face, and we can be up on the fingertips, or if we have the flexibility, we can be down on that palm. We're going to take the right hand and just start to open up to that right side, bringing that right arm up into a twist. So if it's too much to have the arm all the way up, you can take it and kind of rest it on that lower back. Take a few breaths here. And then on that next exhale, dropping that hand back down. We'll switch out the hand, so this time taking that right hand, placing it right in front of that face. And then as we inhale, lifting that left arm up, opening to that left side. Again, you can rest that hand down on the lower part of the back if it's too much to have it all the way up. Taking a couple breaths here. And as we exhale, bringing that left arm back down to the mat. We'll take a second here, just letting that head hang. We want to circle that head, or shake it yes, and shake it no. And then just letting it hang. And on our next inhale, bringing ourselves all the way up to standing, bringing those arms with us, and then exhaling them down. We'll take the hands again, release them by the sides. As we inhale, we're going to lift them back up. We're going to grasp the fingers or the hands together. Rotate the palms so they're facing up towards the ceiling. So it's almost like you're pushing those palms right on that ceiling. And then you're going to slowly start to shift to the right side. Take a breath. And then inhale, come back standing. And then as we exhale, shift to that left side. Taking that breath. And inhale, come back standing. And then kind of just put a little bend in those elbows. Almost like we have a little circle, kind of circling our head. And then push those palms back up. And don't exhale yet. Rotate the palms. Release the hands. And then we're going to exhale those arms back down. We need to shake out those fingers. We're going to do a little bit of a balance here. So I'll turn so you guys can see what I'm doing. So we're going to start with the left leg. So our left leg is going to be our plant foot. We're just going to go into a tree here. So find that spot on the floor that's not moving. Hands can kind of float out to the side to help us a little bit with that balance. We'll slowly start to roll up on those right toes. And when we feel ready, bring those toes up, bring that knee into that chest. And we can stay right here if our balance is a little shaky today. Or we can start to open that leg out to the side, opening those hips. And then we'll take that foot, either place it on the calf, or if the balance is all over, you can kind of take it and place it on the heel with that toe kind of tapping on the mat. Helps a little bit with the balance. Or you can grab that foot and bring it into that inner thigh. When we feel steady, we'll take the arms, start to bring them up. So they're kind of coming out at an angle from the shoulders. So we're in that big tree pose here. Holding it for just a breath more. And then release the arms. And release that leg. And we'll shake that left leg out. Shake that right leg out. And we're going to go right into that same balance right on the other side. So having that right foot planted. Kind of take those arms, kind of find that floating place. Find that spot on the mat or on the floor that's not moving. And slowly starting to roll that left foot up. Popping those toes up, bringing that knee. Again, we can stay right here. Find that balance. And then rotate that leg out to the side. Taking that foot, placing it either on that calf, on that ankle with those toes tapping the floor, or up on that inner thigh. When we find that balance, we'll take the arms, start to lift them up. So they're coming out at that angle from those shoulders. Take those breaths here. Taking one more breath. And then slowly releasing those arms down and release that leg. Shake that leg out. Shake that other leg. And then take a nice wide stance on your mat. So we're gonna have the toes, so they're pointed off to the side here, so they're kind of at an angle. So we're gonna have some options with our arms here. So we're gonna take whatever one is comfortable. So we're gonna sink down into a deep goddess squat here. So we're gonna start to bend the knees, sink those hips down, weights coming into those heels. So we can either take the arms, we can bring them out, just coming straight out with those fingertips nice and wide. Or we can start to bring the arms in, cross the left arm underneath, rotate those hands so their palms are facing each other, and then start to lift those arms so they're at a 90-degree angle. So we don't want them dropping down, keeping those arms nice and lifted here. We'll take those deep breaths. Make sure those tailbones are tucked in so we're not arching that back. Taking one more breath. So keeping those knees bent, we're gonna release the hands, bringing them out to that wide bend in those elbows. We're gonna take a breath. And as we inhale, start to pop ourselves up, release that tension in those legs, straighten those arms out. So you're at that wide start here. Taking a breath. Inhale here. And exhale, fold over those legs. And you can kind of adjust those feet if it's more comfortable so they're parallel with the mat instead of having those toes pointing off to the side. Whatever's comfortable. And let yourself hang here. Taking deep breaths. And we'll take those hands, placing them right under the face if we can, straightening those elbows, and then walking those hands to the front of the mat, rotating so we're coming up on those toes. So we're gonna walk that front foot over to kind of the side of the mat a little bit. So we're kind of on railroad tracks, so those feet aren't directly behind each other. We need to kind of step that back foot in just a little. Take the hands, place them on that thigh, bringing ourselves up to standing. And again, once we're standing, if you need to readjust that stance, sometimes when we're folded over, it's a little awkward. So we want to make sure the knee is right over that ankle. We'll inhale, bring those arms up. And as we exhale, just kind of open the palms and bring the arms out to the sides. Nice job. So take those deep breaths here. All right, as we exhale, we'll release the hands down. If you want, you can bring them on the hips and then rotate that back foot. So you're bringing that heel down, but that foot's kind of off to a little bit of an angle. And you can kind of shorten the stance a little bit too if you need to. If it's too much on the knee to have that foot at that angle, you can rotate the foot so it's parallel with the mat, or you can stay up on those toes. When you feel ready, we'll put that bend back in that front knee. We're going to take those same arms that we did in our little squat here. So we'll inhale, bring the arms out to the sides. Start to bring them in towards the chest. We're gonna take that same left arm, crossing it underneath, rotating those palms so they're facing each other. And then try to keep that 90-degree in those arms. We don't want them dropping down. I'm gonna take those deep breaths here. Take one more breath. And slowly start to release those arms and let them come down to the side. You can place them back on those hips. So if we don't have that foot rotated behind us, let's rotate it so it's parallel with the mat. And then kind of take those hips and kind of rotate them so they're facing that side wall. And then we're going to put that bend back in that front knee. So you might have to slide that foot out just a little bit, get a little bit longer stance. And then take those arms out to the sides. Gaze going over that front middle finger. Trying to keep the arms somewhat even with each other so we feel them start to drop, just kind of lift them back up and then relax the shoulders down. Take a couple more breaths here and we're going to have one more pose with this leg bent. So use the breath here. We'll slowly start to rotate that front palm so it's facing the ceiling. As we exhale, start to tip ourselves back, dropping that back arm down along that thigh. Bringing the gaze up and making sure that belly's nice and tight to kind of help that lower back here. Taking a couple more breaths. As we inhale, start to bring ourselves back forward. We can bring that back arm up. Exhale, drop those hands down. We'll straighten that front leg. Rotate that foot so it's parallel with the mat. Inhale, bring those arms up. Exhale, fold over those legs. Use this moment right here to let everything relax. Try to release those muscles if you're holding any tightness anywhere. And we'll take those hands, placing them right under the face. Start to straighten those elbows. We're again going to walk those hands up to the front of that mat, rotating those feet. And then step that back foot forward. And inhale, come all the way up. Bring those arms. Exhaling them down. I don't think I told you like a side. So whatever side you didn't do last time, we're going to do this time. So go ahead and release those hands down. So for me, I'm going to take the right leg, stepping it back long, but that might be your left leg. So We're gonna even it out here. So make sure those feet are on those railroad tracks so they're not right behind each other. And that knee is right over that ankle. We'll inhale, bring the arms up. And exhale, start to open those arms, keeping those fingers nice and wide. Taking those deep breaths here. Taking one more breath. Exhaling it out. And slowly start to release those arms down. You can take them on the hips if you want. Taking that back foot and kind of rotating that foot so the heel's now down on the mat, kind of pointing off to that side. Again, if that's not comfortable on the knee, you can rotate that foot so it's facing parallel with the mat, or stay up on those back toes. Balance first here. And then when we feel ready, putting that bend into that front leg. We'll inhale, bring those arms out to the sides. And we're gonna go back into those arms, but this time we're gonna take the right arm underneath. So we'll start to bring those elbows in towards the chest. Take that right arm underneath, rotate those palms so they're facing each other. And again, keeping those arms at that 90 degrees. So try not to let them drop down. And taking those deep breaths here. And then we'll slowly unhook those arms, bringing them out, and then exhaling them down. We're gonna take that back foot, and this time kind of rotate it off to the side. Turn this face up, you guys. And then kind of take those hips, kind of move them so they're kind of towards that wall or off to the side. And then we're gonna put that bend back into that front leg. Again, if you need to walk that front foot out a little bit to get that little bit longer stance. And then we'll bring those arms out to the sides. Gaze going over that front middle finger. And taking those deep breaths. And we're going to do one more pose with this bent leg. We'll take one more breath here. And then rotate that front palm so it's facing up towards the ceiling. And then as we exhale, start to shift ourselves back, letting that back hand rest on that back thigh. Bringing that arm kind of up and overhead at an angle. Gaze going up towards the sky. Making sure to tighten up that belly to help that lower back. Taking those deep breaths here. Take one more breath. And on that nice inhale, bringing ourselves back up, bring those arms out. And then exhaling those arms down, straightening that front leg, rotating that foot so it's parallel with the mat. Kind of lining up those toes with each other. And then inhale those arms up. And exhale, folding right over those legs, or in between them, I should say. And then let everything hang. Release all the tension in those legs. And then taking those hands, placing them right under that face, straightening those elbows, walking those legs up to that front foot, top of the mat, rotating so you're up on those back heels, and then step that front leg back into a down dog. Holding this down dog for a couple breaths here. Maybe taking notice in the legs, feeling the difference from when we first started our practice this evening. Maybe those feel a little bit looser, maybe a little bit more fatigued. And then we'll slowly start to shift ourselves down onto those knees. Untuck those toes. And it's your choice if you want to walk those knees so they're wide on the mat or kind of keep the legs together. We're going to start to sink the hips back over those heels. Drop that forehead to the mat. You can keep the arms outstretched, or if those shoulders need a little bit of a break, you can take the arms, slide them right by the legs. Taking those deep breaths here. On our next inhale, we'll bring ourselves up onto those hands and those knees. And then start to make our way to have a seat on our mat. Taking those legs out in front of us. Kind of give them a little bit of a wiggle. If you need to kind of bend those knees up and down, shake those legs around. And then let them just come straight in front of us. Kind of put those hands and kind of rock side to side so you're up on those sit bones. And then bring the hands by the sides. And we'll inhale, bring those arms up. And as we exhale, start to fold over those legs. Just coming to wherever's comfortable, wherever you start to feel the pull, either in that lower back or down the backs of the legs. Trying to keep the length in that back. So if we start to round ourselves forward in that upper back, just kind of scoot out of that pose just a little bit. And take those deep breaths. And we'll slowly place the hands on the mat right next to those legs. Kind of walk ourselves back just a little bit. And then take those feet together, bringing them in towards the hips. And again, kind of rock so we're up on those sit bones. And we'll take the hands, if it's comfortable to place them on the feet, you can place them on the feet. We'll take an inhale here. And as we exhale, start to fold ourselves over those feet. Again, trying to keep the length in that back. So if you start to round that upper back, just kind of come out of that pose a little bit. And let those knees come naturally down to the floor. Try not to push them down. And taking those deep breaths. And taking those hands, placing them on the mat, slowly start to push ourselves back up. We'll take the hands, place them under the knees, kind of give those legs a little bit of a help back up. And then slowly try to make your way all the way onto your mat. And we'll keep the feet flat on the mat. Take the arms out to the side, almost like a T coming straight out from the body. Take the feet, walk them over to the right side just a little bit, and then shift those hips over. Bring the knees up into the chest, and then let those knees fall to that left side. Feeling that twist in that lower back. Breathing into it. And then start to lift that top leg up, followed by that bottom leg. Taking the feet, placing them back on the mat. And walking those feet over to that left side. Shifting those hips over. Bringing those knees into the chest. And then letting those knees fall to that right side. And sending that breath into this side of the twist. And slowly start to lift that top leg up, followed by that bottom leg. Place those feet back onto the mat. Walk those feet back center, then shift those hips over center. Bring those knees into the chest. You can either take a hold of the knees here and rock side to side, or if you want a little bit deeper, you can reach up, grab those feet, kind of bring those knees into those armpits, and then slowly rock side to side. Feeling that little massage on that spine. Releasing all that tension. And we'll release the feet, keeping the legs up. Take those arms again out by the sides, kind of like that T to give us a little balance, straightening those legs up, or having a slight bend in those knees, whatever's comfortable. And we're just going to point and flex those heels and those feet, those toes. And then do some circles with those feet. And then switch to the other side. And then point and flex one last time. And then bring those knees down. Place those feet down onto the mat. Let the legs come down. Resting them all the way onto the mat. We'll do one final stretch. So take the arms up overhead, clasping those fingers if it's comfortable, or just stretching those arms all the way up, stretching those legs all the way down, just like we're waking up in the morning. Get that full body stretch, and then let everything relax down. Let those legs go wherever's comfortable. Bring those arms down along by your sides. Start to close the eyes. Refocusing on that breath. Trying to clear the mind of any thoughts you might have. Releasing any tension that you're holding in the body, or any stress that you have in the mind. Watching it leave with each exhale. Letting yourself sink deeper and deeper into your mat. You may find that a thought comes back into your mind. Try to just let it go with each exhale. Taking these next few minutes to just be with yourself, to not have to worry about anything, to not have to think about anything. It's your time to just relax and let it all go. slowly start to bring a little life back into the body by wiggling the fingers and toes. Start to roll the wrists and ankles. Rock your head from side to side. Begin to deepen your inhales and exhales. And when you feel ready, take one foot, place it on the mat, and follow it by that other foot. And slowly bringing one knee into the chest, followed by that other, and rocking side to side. And when you feel ready, roll onto your right side. With your right side grounded by the earth, leaving your left side open to the sun, the moon, and the stars, and all the gifts the universe has to offer you today. When you feel ready, come up to a comfortable seated position. We'll take the hands, place them in front of the heart, close the eyes one last time. Take a deep inhale and exhale it all out. Thank you for sharing your practice with me this evening. I hope you have a great rest of your night. Namaste. Thank you guys. That was flow.